Okay, so welcome to this week's call. My name's Jackie Boyle, and as always, this day, being Friday in Australia, is Thursday for those on the other side of the world, which is Dr. Ahrens, and welcome to the call, Dr. Ahrens.
Oh, I'm just glad to be here on the other side of the world, and also on the top, not down under.
Okay, well, I'll leave that one alone. But I just want to say, like as far as having Dr. Ahrens here today, he comes with a lot of credibility, and I like to acknowledge that he is a dual-nominated Nobel Prize scientist. So, the information that he can provide to us when he is providing answers is coming with a lot of wealth of knowledge over the years, and to be able to share what he knows in regards to people asking questions about product driven predominantly through Emulin and 24/7, but some of them are symptoms of conditions when our body decides to respond differently to things that are happening to us. So this is what today is about. So when we talk about having questions sent in, we do have a monthly call. So if you do send a question in tomorrow, it's going to be in the next month. So please understand that that's how we're working, so we can ensure that you get the correct answers that you need. So Dr. Ahrens, I've sent these questions through to you, so you've got a fair idea. So we'll get started into the first one. And the first question being is that that we've got two granddaughters that are 12 and 8, and they've been taking Emulin M for 8 months, and they were 11 and 7 years old then. So 8 months on, they are 12 and 8. The one that is 12 now has her periods, and she's taking Emulin M. Question being, should she let them continue to take Emulin M, or should she switch to Emulin C due to the fact that she's actually started menstruating? Like, is it okay for her to be able to continue on Emulin M?
Yes, that's a good question. I've got 3 daughters myself, so I'm pretty familiar with how all these things work. And yes, there is a component in Emulin that does cause the increase in testosterone and estrogen, but it is so small, especially the C. We're talking about that capsule, just 1% of it is quercetin. And then the M is much larger, but it's still not enough to cause any real changes in hormones. Now, I did have a product one time where we had a lot of quercetin in, and you can buy products on the market now that are just almost pure quercetin. That product will absolutely change your hormone balance. It'll actually make you angry. It pumps up the testosterone so high, but not for either Emulin C or Emulin M. There is no danger whatsoever. We've done plenty of studies on when we were doing the original diabetes work. We did a lot of blood chemistry. There were no changes at these small amounts. Now, quercetin is in the product in order to help liberate fatty acids from your fat tissue. That is number one reason for being there. It liberates fat, and it liberates it as fatty acids and as sugar. And while we're talking about that, I will say that's why we have the M and the C, because we have higher levels of quercetin in the M, and it liberates more fatty acids and sugars out of fat tissue, and you could see an increase in your blood sugar. So it's temporary, but you can see an increase. So that's why we say Emulin C for people that are concerned about high blood sugar levels, and for everyone else, maintenance M, stay on the higher level of quercetin, because that higher level will show a little spike increase in blood sugar. That's actually good, because you're liberating that from your fat, and also it then burn up in your brain and your muscle. You feel quite alert. But getting back to the question, no, there's no problem. They can take C, they can take M. Neither one of those is going to change the hormone profile much. And if you're concerned, go ahead and go for the C, but I don't have any issue with it all. And my daughters have been on it from they were babies.
Awesome. Thank you. So the second question is, I need to be very careful on how I actually ask this, but when we start talking about the world that we're living in today, do you think that Emulin and our current situation on what we're dealing with as a pandemic, I guess, really, is quercetin and Emulin the best in terms of assisting towards what we're dealing with in today's world with what with the pandemic? I have to be very careful here. And how much difference is there between Emulin and I think is it Evixa?
Well, it's very close. Very close. I think it's Vivir. Equivir.
Okay. Equivir, sorry. That's not close at all.
Equivir. Well, first of all, you didn't want to say, but you know, they're concerned about COVID-19. And if I take Emulin, will it kick COVID-19's ass? All right, let's say it immediately. We're not here to cure any diseases. We're not trying to mitigate diseases, but Emulin supports your immune system. So it doesn't matter if it's a bee sting or it's a virus or anything that would come into your body. Emulin supports your immune system and it will respond its best if you're on Emulin. So it's not like a drug where you take a drug and it actually kills the bacteria or it deactivates the virus. No, we support your immune system, your own body's immune system. And when it is operating properly and it's peak performance, you're just going to have less colds because it's your body doing it. You'll have less colds, less flu. And if it is a COVID-19, that also would not be as much of an issue too, but it does not tackle the virus itself. It has nothing to do with the replication, nothing like that. It just supports your own immune system. And in most cases, your immune system will kick those problems away. So yeah, we're not having any issue directly with the disease. Now, whether it's M or C, well, in most cases, you should be on M unless you have concerns about high blood sugar, and then you should be on C. Even M is okay for people with diabetics. We started out, the original formula was Emulin C, Emulin C. And then for people that were not concerned about having a higher blood sugar level, then we made M because M is the one that does a better job on the immune system. That doesn't mean that C is poor. So both Emulin C and M, both of them regulate blood sugar levels. Both of them support your immune system. But the C is geared a little bit more towards the blood sugar issues. M is geared more towards a little more on the immune system. That's the only difference. It's just about the ratio of the same 3 flavonoids that are in those capsules. So you should take, and when you think you're going to travel, you think you're going to be around a lot of people that are sick and you're concerned about that, hey, take more. During this pandemic, I take 4 or 5 a day. I don't like to take pills just like anyone else. So, you know, I guess I'm a pill pusher, but I don't like to take them. But for my weight, I used to take 3. And then during this pandemic, I take 4 or 5 just because I want that extra support. This is an issue, people. We're under attack right now by a biological problem here. So I take a little bit more. And when I'm not, I do take the 2, but I weigh about 98 kilograms. I'm not thin guy. And I usually take 3 or 4 because of that. And 4 or 5 during these times, maintenance 2 or 3. Okay, that was the first part. The second part was about this product, Equivir. That's a really good product. It's a fantastic product. And it itself, in the previous trials, we've had several trials of that. Yeah, it overcame Ebola, which is a SARS-2 virus. So we're talking about the same thing as COVID. It's that same family. MERS, Mideastern Respiratory Syndrome, SARS, they're all the same. Very close. Ebola. And that was showing a lot of promise. And about 5 or 6 years ago, when we first started doing those tests, and we had to make a decision at one point. And so my partner, Daryl Thompson, and myself, actually, that's where ATM comes from, is Ahrens, Thompson, and McCarty, ATM. We had two different directions we were going. One of them was going to be focused specifically on viruses, bacteria, more the pharmaceutical approach. And then the other one was in carbohydrate management, weight management, support your immune system. So we actually split the company, and Thompson took the pharmaceutical route, and Ahrens took more the food supplement route, vitamin route. And so we are actually two distinct companies now. We have been for 5 or 6 years. That company is called Global Research and Development Group, and we are called ATM Metabolic. So, well, I don't have any directly thing to do with that, except, yeah, I did some of the original research. I actually designed the first clinical trials for that, and it's a wonderful product. It is not currently available for sale that I know of. It's still in its clinical trials. It's got to go through all of those, jump over those hoops to get into that, and then it will be available probably in doctor offices and pharmacies. So, and I'm here over on the Emulin side doing the supplements. We just, two different philosophies, two different markets, two different ways resources are spent. So that's the relationship between Thompson and Ahrens right now, just running two different companies. So there's some crossover, only because both of these products are flavonoids. They're flavonoid based, but I think there's only one ingredient in Emulin that is in the Equivir. So I think because it may have changed over the last 5 years, because I haven't been involved in that research, because I can't tell you exactly what's in there, except they are flavonoid based. So it's an outstanding product, and I hope you get a chance to try it out. And but that's the difference between the two. No, they're not the same formula. They just happen to both of them be flavonoids. That is polyphenolic compounds like myricetin. But Emulin will help a lot because it supports your immune system. But unlike Equivir, Equivir actually does attack the virus and prevents its replication. And it prevents that explosion later on of an immune cascade. That's not how Emulin works. Emulin just supports your immune system. It has nothing to do with attacking the virus itself. Do you think that was clear, Jackie?
It was, Dr. Ahrens, and of course, we're not making any claims to cure, heal, and or fix anything. It's just a personal opinion that Dr. Ahrens is providing to you, just to stay compliant here. Yes, it was. So the next question that I've got for you, it's a very quick one, but is it safe to simultaneously take Emulin C and also 24/7 AM and PM?
Oh, sure, of course. There's only one ingredient in Emulin that is also in 24/7. Actually, they complement each other. They're all basically, again, flavonoids. I'm a strong believer in flavonoids. This is actually the basis of my research. I think that we do not get enough flavonoids in our diet. And so without them, you have flavonoid deficiency syndrome. So you need these flavonoids, and we just don't get them. That's the dark stuff. Unfortunately, few hundred years ago, we bred these flavonoids out of our plants. We didn't know they were important at the time. And today's dark berries, as an example, dark grapes, they don't contain only 1% of what they did 100 years ago. So that's why we made the supplement, because people need to supplement their diet to get enough flavonoids for your body to function as it was meant to. So yeah, take them. 24/7 has a lot more wider function than just the Emulin. Emulin supports your immune system. Number one, Emulin manages carbohydrate metabolism. But 24/7 does more than that. It also adds a component in there to decrease your appetite, naturally does that. It also energizes you. You feel more alert without, there's no stimulants in it, but you do feel more alert. And then the nighttime formula helps you calm down, and is a little bit of melatonin in there to help you sleep. And we talked a lot about the serotonin melatonin cycle, but that's what's going on with 24/7. Helps you get rest in the night, which is critical to have good weight management, and it keeps you active during the day, but throughout the whole 24 hours, it helps you metabolize carbohydrates. Emulin mainly support your immune system.
Perfect marriage, I always say. Emulin and 24/7. One layers on top of the other. So thank you, Dr. Ahrens. The next one I've got to shift through. We've got quite a few questions to bounce through today. So the next one is talking about just your thoughts in regards to Emulin being able to potentially support the body for one that is suffering with Lyme's disease.
Well, yes, we do have some reports back to us that it's helped with people with Lyme disease, but from how I understand physiology, and I probably do understand physiology pretty good, which is the chemistry of your body, the chemistry of life. The reason it does so well is because it supports your immune system. Now, one of the problems with Lyme disease is it actually attacks your immune system. It actually not just invades you and there's a biotoxin in there, but it actually attacks your immune system itself. And you can get many other problems from that, many other autoimmune diseases. Again, Emulin supports your immune system. So it kind of supports that attack that Lyme disease is giving you. So yes, we have reports of people that say they did very well. Again, we are not curing the disease itself. We're just supporting your immune system. But absolutely, there are reports. Go for it.
Okay, this one, there's a two-part question to this from Mary. So just wanting to know as to whether you know a practicing vet within the company, but this lady, Mary, has cats. So she's got 3 felines, and since dogs do not have the same physiology as cats and are more sensitive to things, she's wanting to know whether it's okay for her cats to be able to have Emulin. That's question 1.
Yes, absolutely. Although cats do have a different physiology than dogs and humans and pigs and sheep and goats and horses, they all still are mammals. And as far as their carbohydrate metabolism is, it's very, very similar, very close. The closest to us actually are pigs. But in every sense, every single case I've seen of any animal, because people take the stuff and then they give it to their pets, cats, dogs, guinea pigs, gerbils, whatever. They give it to them when they see a great response. So here's the good thing about Emulin. Whether we get these biochemicals, these natural compounds, we extract them out of plants, they're pure. It doesn't matter where they come from. You might see on some bottles that it's extracted from Cepa, which is Cepa allium, which is onions and garlic. Or you might see that myristicin is extracted from grapes or some other plant. There's no grapes in this product. There's no onion in this product. It's the pure compound. It's just like getting vitamin C from oranges, or vitamin C from tangerines, or vitamin C from rose hips. It's the pure compound. So you don't have to worry about any food allergies or issues like dogs that have cacao, the chocolate ingredient that gives them trouble, or the grapes gives them trouble. No, it's pure compound. So you don't have any issues with giving this to any of your pets. Now, we have studies that have been done on dogs, and we have currently some going on with horses, and I think there's going to be dogs included in that. We haven't done cats yet. So, I mean, we will in the future, but I can tell you, okay, I'm going to admit this. I'm a cat person. Okay, I got 2 cats, I like to say I have this big Doberman Pinscher, like John Wayne, but no, I got 2 cats. And I gave it to them, and their fur, their skin, the brightness in their eyes, it's really helps. So yes, there's no issue, but we do not have a vet on board, although I would like to say to everybody, I did start out as in veterinary school. I actually thought I was going to be an animal doctor, and I got sidetracked, and here I am in human medicine. But it absolutely is okay. And, you know, I could actually find a vet for that person. If you'll take down their information, I'll have them contact them.
Okay, thank you. I shall do. So Mary, we'll get that sorted. Mary also asked Dr. Ahrens, and I think this is something that a lot of people, it's a very quick answer that you can give to them. She's very new to the company. She's expecting blood results. So she's just wondering what is the right formula for a human being to take. She doesn't think that she's got high cholesterol problems, and she eats healthily, and she avoids processed foods like white flour, sugar, and GMO products. So just looking to know what product to start off on.
If you don't have any issue with high blood sugar, go for the M. If you have any issue you're dealing with, whether it's an ache or a pain, or too many colds, or arthritis, or IBS, Crohn's disease, get sunburn all the time, whatever issue you've got an issue you're dealing with, you need to double or triple up on that Emulin. And the way to do that, I really can't tell you. Some people just start out right away with 6 or 8 a day. Other people, they take 1, and then another 2 or 3 days they take 2, and they just take like a month to build up to 6 or 8 capsules a day. And it also depends on your weight. So I have no issues at all. When I say, okay, I want to increase my Emulin doses, I just take them immediately, and I don't have any issues. Other people, I think, like you say, Jackie, yourself, you have to build up gradually. So once you have that in your body, it saturates your blood. And then once the issue you're dealing with, whether it's, a pain or IBS or Crohn's, once that is under control, remember, you're not controlling the disease, you're just supporting your immune system. Once your body has that under control, that's a better way to say it, then you can start cutting back, because, I'm sensitive to the price of these products. I'd like everyone just to take down to the maintenance level of 2 a day. And so for me, as I said, I'm about 200 pounds. I take 3 as a maintenance dose. Take 3 when everything's okay. When I twist my ankle, or I do some stupid sailing things and whatever, okay, I take 6 or 8. I take a lot for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then once I'm healed, I go back to 2 or 3. So yeah, do M, unless you're worried about high blood sugar. And again, it really doesn't matter, but take M. And you should, based on your weight, I just gave you an example. You're 200 pounds, take 6 of them. Are you 100 pounds? Take 3. And then after a month or so, then you should cut back. Now, also, you take a lot of that product for a long time. After a while, your body just kind of gets used to it. And you need to change things around. Some people have suggested to me that, hey, they take 3 or 4 a day, and after they feel it's not working, after like a year or 2, they jump up to 8 or 10 a day, kind of wake their body up. Well, you can also do the other. You can stop taking it for a week, and that also will shake things up, and then go back on it. So your body just, gets used to stuff, just like anything else you would take, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B. Sometimes you have to just shake up your schedule to wake your body up. But I hope that was clear. But take Emulin M, and you need to, based on your weight. If you're 100 pounds, take 3. If you're 200 pounds, take 6. And then after you have addressed your issues, start cutting back, because I want you to get back on the lower dose. Not because it's dangerous. There's no danger here. And there's no drug interactions. It's just that I don't want you to waste your money.
Thank you, Dr. Ahrens, and it certainly does work when you mix it up and you shift it around. I personally will say that. Okay, so we've got another question from Deb Flynn, and so said that she had a heart attack, which resulted in 4 stents and 2 balloons being put in. Prior to this, she was taking Emulin C. She had thermorose coffee, tropical blast, but a cardiologist instructed her to stop these natural supplements whilst she was taking the meds that she had been put on by the physician. She's finding it frustrating and would like to get back onto her supplements, especially Emulin C. These meds she's been on for a year. So one's a blood thinner twice a day. I know you can see the products that are in front of you. Metrolol, I think. There's another blood pressure tablet in there. There's a cholesterol tablet. You can see the medications that are there. So there's quite a few medications on there. So she's basically wondering, is it possible to get these supplements again, especially the Emulin C? So she's wanting to restart, and with all of those medications that she has listed, would it be safe for her to be able to start taking Emulin C again?
Well, there are over 10,000 bioflavonoid polyphenolic compounds in the world that we actually eat every day. And when we were formulating Emulin, we were very careful of the many choices that we had. And look, we've worked on this research like 15 years. We could have chosen several bioflavonoids that had a really similar action. But one of the ones there's a couple of things we chose them for on purpose. One of them is, most people don't know this, but you could take these capsules and break them open and bake them in a food in the oven if you wanted to, and they are very heat stable and they do not oxidize very easily. One of the things that doesn't oxidize very easily is green tea extract. Most of these green tea extracts on the shelf, if you were to open them up and analyze them, there's nothing in there. They're all oxidized. They're not stable. So we use ones that are stable. They have a long shelf life, and I know a question's coming up on that. And we also importantly chose the bioflavonoids that do not have any known drug interaction. There is no drug known where there's an interaction with the components of Emulin. Now, a physician, he can't go around and study every single supplement on the planet, and so he's want to take care of you. And he says, look, don't take any supplements. I know what I'm doing. Get off of anything, because they don't know what's in there. They don't understand these types of products. And just take these drugs. Okay, I get that. But I can tell you that there's nothing in Emulin that will bother you. And yes, in particular, Emulin C is the one to take, because there's no problem with Emulin C with any of the blood thinners. There's not enough quercetin in there to bother you. I also will tell you that any doctor that wants to talk to me, I'll talk to them one-on-one. And Jackie, you know, I've gone to your physician and I've talked to him, and he completely gets it. I'll talk one-on-one with any physician, because I know that that physician then can tell the word to other people. And so you can't expect your surgeon or your MD to know all these things. You know, I used to be a professor. I actually trained the doctors. And so they're my students. They're just the technicians. They don't do research. So I'll talk to them. I'll tell them, and I will tell you again, there's no known drug interactions. Yes, you can get on Emulin C, but I'm not your physician. I can't actually give you that legal advice.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Dr. Ahrens, and best of luck with your recovery too, Deb, as you go forward. So on to that question, Dr. Ahrens, which is, we've got a product run out line because of expiry with Emulin M and Emulin C being November 21. So the question being is to how effective is the product going to be after that expiry date with Emulin?
Okay, so this is only just a legal technical issue with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Also, it's the same one in Europe, and the same thing goes on in Australia and New Zealand. If you put a flavonoid or supplement in a bottle, you're allowed 2 years to say it's good. And you don't have to do anything else. They automatically give you that date. And we made a lot of Emulin, I don't know, 500,000 bottles. in 2019, at the end of 2019. We made a lot because there was going to be a demand, and we made some since, but there was a huge amount made, and they all were stamped for like either October or November 2021 expiration date. It's got nothing to do with the effectiveness of the product. Emulin is good for 10 years, but the FDA does not let you put that 10 years on the package. If you do want to do that, then you have to take that product and do some advanced deterioration studies. And, actually we're doing that in Australia right now for some of our products. But you can go through this advanced deterioration study, advanced protocols, but that's what that data is for there. The product was good for at least another 8, unless it got exposed to temperatures over 140 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, that's pretty hot. So unless it got up that high for a long time, because I told you it would even get through the oven. But if it stayed in a warehouse for like 2 years at 140, it might be a little less effective than that. So that's not the case. That's the reason for the expiration date. Okay, the second part of that question, if I remember, was why don't we just re-stamp them? Well, the FDA does not let you do that. What you can do is you can take every bottle and empty it out, empty it completely out, cut them up, shred the capsules out, then take that product and repackage it, re-put it back in a capsule. I know this sounds silly, but it's the way the law works. You got a perfectly good bottle of Emulin, and it's run out. It's expiration dated, run out. Okay, what you do is you got machines to do this. They open the bottle, pour them out, and then they shred the capsules and filter it out. And then you got all the powder, and then you put them back into new capsules and put them back in the new bottle, and you can put another 2 years on it. Yeah, it's completely stupid. But that's what's going on. And the reason you don't do that is because it costs another $2 or $3 a bottle to do that. And so we've got a lot in the warehouse, not a lot. But as a company and a corporation, we can't just sell expired products. So we have to get rid of that product. And it's just because that date came back. And with the pandemic, we didn't think the pandemic was going to happen. So sales slowed down. So we made a guess 2 years ago about how much we would use. And we made 500,000 bottles. And then we were going to remake it another year. And well, the pandemic came and everything slowed down. Everybody knows that. That's why we ended up with perfectly good product in the warehouse. And it's not because there wasn't a good demand. It was just that it slowed down enough that the production, that production date, it's going to run out. Now, I've told Dave Jordan, by the way, I'll take all he's got. If he has any stuff left in the warehouse, I've got use for it, because I've got people that know this stuff and they'll just use the heck out of it. But you can't sell products, supplements with a use by date that's expired. That's just the law. Even though you're allowed to open them up, cut them up, filter them, put them back in new capsules, back in a new bottle, and put another 2-year date on it. Yeah. Totally stupid.
So I know I've stocked up and I'm very happy because I love Emulin and my body cannot survive without it. Let me tell you that. So Dr. Ahrens, the next one's quite a lengthy question here. So have you heard of Emulin causing spotting and bleeding for someone who already experienced menopause? Here is a friend of this lady who's asking on behalf of that. Her age is 61 and she has no idea when she went through menopause. It's been 11 years or so. She remembers the periods tapering off every few months or so back then. She started taking Emulin in January 2021 and she took 1 capsule every day. And she started spotting on a couple of occasions at the end of May this year. Last week, the June 1st, she started bleeding heavier, went to the emergency room. She was told she had a thick uterus and fibroid and possibly a polyp. September 2nd, she had a hysterectomy and a DC, and the polyp was removed. It was benign, and the biopsy came back negative for any cancer, which is phenomenal. Thank goodness, thank God. She stopped taking Emulin about a week after she started bleeding, and the only one thing she could think of that she had added. She began taking Emulin again on October 1st, 1 capsule a day. Day 3 or 4, she noticed spotting again. She had stopped bleeding and spotting from the surgery after 2.5 weeks and immediately stopped taking Emulin C. The spotting stopped the next day. She loves the product and how it makes her feel, and she was using it to help support lower her blood sugar, and was also diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Any feedback would be appreciated as to potentially what she could do going forward with what has been explained to you.
Well, you know, when people listen to me and they come on to this weekly call and they look on our website, you know what they're going to get? They're going to get no bullshit from me. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I do not understand this case. I can tell you a couple of things. First of all, the polyps that she had, and there's no possibility physiologically that they could be related. So there's two things going on here. She had some spotting, and that usually is a hormonal issue. It's kind of we call it a regressive hormonal activity, where there is some still tissue in her body that is still pumping out some hormones. You know, you just make a hormone from 1 or 2 spots in your body. I mean, it's all, you know, I mean, that, I don't know. I mean, that's really fascinating. Actually, my first degree was in reproductive physiology, so I really do understand this area very well, but I think most of the population here on this call doesn't want to know all that stuff. I'll just say that there can be residual tissues that can produce hormones, and they're not just all in the uterus. And there is no possibility that the polyps that she was experiencing, and I'm yes, really glad that that worked out, had anything to do with Emulin. Yes, there is a possibility that Emulin could have caused spotting. I'm just looking in the inside of my head, you know, reproductive physiology. And we talked earlier about the problem. Could there be any issues with estrogen or testosterone? This is a really outlier case where there is a person that is very sensitive to natural chemicals that are estrogen based. I mean, I don't know, a lot of people don't know that, but a lot of stuff we eat itself has estrogen in it. I mean, estrogen is not just for mammals. There's foods that have estrogen in them. And so some people are sensitive to them. And there is very little of these compounds in Emulin. But I got to say, just like I know there are certain people allergic to Emulin, of the tens, I'll say hundreds of thousands of people that have taken Emulin, there's just 2 or 3 that have ever come back to me and I found out they were allergic to it, because you can be allergic to any food, or they had you know, reflux problems. But I'm sorry, I think that this lady, her friend, is in this area where she's extremely sensitive to natural plant compounds that can cause changes in her estrogen levels. She's got to make the choice of whether she thinks that spotting is too much versus the benefits of it. But it does happen, I'm going to tell you. But I've never had another report like that ever. I don't know if you've heard somebody ever saying something like that, Jackie, because you get a lot of these reports, but I know not heard that before.
And thank you, Dr. Ahrens. The only thing that I will say, and my situation is totally different to this lady's, but throughout my duration, when I first started taking Emulin, had a very complex history, and I'm not taking up a lot of time with my story, but you know, I noticed I should have really stopped taking it if I listened to what my body was telling me, but I was desperate. And I really wanted to give my body, I read everything, I read all of the articles, I did my research, and it was my last resort for where I was at the time. And so I went through hell and back. I have to be honest, like my body responded in ways that most would say, I don't want to keep taking it. But boy, oh boy, am I glad that I did, because over that 6 to 12 month period, the first 6 months wasn't pleasurable at all, because my body had to make some major adjustments for one reason or another. But eventually they did. So whether this would happen for this lady or not, Dr. Ahrens, I don't know. But I know just personally for myself, if I had have stopped from when I felt those things happening for me personally, I don't know where I would be today. I'm just very grateful that I persevered and kept on fueling my body with food. But who knows for this person? So, but you're right. I do get a lot of questions that are similar in regards to people responding differently, but we're all different. No shoe fits the same person exactly in the right manner. So I hope that that works out okay. Okay, so we've got a few. We need to keep moving through because we do have about 3 more questions. So would you be able to help? I'm unsure about Emulin with the reviews. Do you only take Emulin C if you have diabetes, or can you take it to focus on carbs, metabolism, etc.? Also, after being on Emulin C for a month, do you move on to Emulin M, or are they for separate things?
Well, I think we've covered that in the previous questions, and that is that C and M are very close related. They both manage carbohydrates and blood sugar. They both help you manage your immune system. C is more for people that are concerned about blood sugar, and M for those that just want to focus more on the immune system. But they are so close. It really doesn't ultimately matter which one you take. But you know what? Go for C, and yeah, try M after a while. If you think everything's under control with C, try M. And if you think your blood sugar levels are still good, go on the M. If they're not, stay on the C.
Okay, thank you. So that really answers the next question, is that which Emulin would be used best for someone suffering with high blood pressure?
Either one of those will work. Either one of those work for high blood pressure, because both of them help the capillaries be more flexible and more permeable. Actually, back in the 1940s, some of these related compounds were proposed to be called vitamin P, P like in Paul, for permeability. And they make the whole vascular system more permeable and more flexible, and your blood sugar will get under control.
Okay, so the next question is, thank you. This lady's father was diagnosed with herpes, is it zoster? And it's still very painful, and he has had it about 4 weeks. We would like to try Emulin M. How many pills or how many tablets per day would you recommend taking? And do you think it could potentially be helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm getting back to everybody needs Emulin. It's just like a vitamin that's required by your body to support your immune system. And you are battling something like herpes, you need all the help you can get. Take 3 to 4 capsules per 100 pounds.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So now we've got 2 questions. So the first one is, I have a young friend who's male. He's 50 years old, that has a hereditary, hemochromatosis. Also,
Excellent.
7 months. Oh, I got a star. Also, 7 months ago, he was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver. He has also been alcohol-free to date. He has water retention also, which has caused him a lot of severe joint pain. His weight is 275 pounds. His height is 6'1". They're suggesting that they assume that Emulin M or C could be beneficial for him. Which one would you suggest, and how many capsules per day?
Okay, so I would go for M because there's no issue with the blood sugar. So this is a really interesting disease. It's actually that your body absorbs iron too rapidly. and it's an enzyme problem passed on through either parent, which causes you to absorb irons too fast. And you know, most people have the other issue. They can't absorb iron fast enough, especially females, because they have a high iron requirement. And but in people that have this disease, they absorb too much iron, and the iron accumulates in the kidneys and the heart and liver. You know, this is actually why it's recommended that we eat things like liver, because they're so high in iron. And but this is the opposite case. You know, you absorb too much iron, and the cure for this is to eat foods that almost have no iron in them, and to avoid vitamin C, because vitamin C's main function is to help you absorb iron. This is why grapefruit and citrus are great in a salad with spinach, because the citrus helps you through vitamin C absorb the iron that's in the spinach. That's really actually a great salad. The guys who want to try that, a little vinaigrette, citrus, orange, grapefruit on a bed of fresh, excuse me, of any dark green leafy vegetable, but particularly spinach. Okay, this individual has the opposite problem. They absorb too much iron. And of course, not only apparently there was an alcohol issue earlier, but the liver is going to be damaged just from the disease. And on top of that, the alcohol, that's a nightmare happening. Absolutely, Emulin M, it will help you repair a lot of the damage, and it will not contribute to the uptake of iron. So yes, Emulin M. How much should you take? Wow, 200 whatever pounds, 300 pounds. So I take, that's a heavy guy. Take 10 of them a day. Now I would start out 2 a day. 2 or 3 days later, 4 a day. The next week, 5 a day. Because I mean, this is a heavy individual. And see if at 10, and it will absolutely help you repair your liver, even cirrhosis and or fatty, streaking fatty liver disease. It absolutely can help you repair that liver. And also it will help your immune system. Now remember, immune system is not just about fighting bugs. The immune system is also about just repair. You break a bone, that's the immune system coming in there, recognizing the broken bone parts. It all works the same way. So when you have a damaged organs, your immune system is what repairs them. And I hope everybody remembers that. We had a very nice talk a few months ago on the immune system. It's not just poisons and viruses and bacteria and shards of glass and wood chip. No, it's anything, your own body, breaking your finger. It's your immune system that repairs that. And so this Emulin supports your immune system, and it will help repair those damaged organs. Emulin M, and I'm saying 8 to 10 capsules a day, and then you'll notice a difference. And then cut back as soon as you feel things are much more better.
Awesome, Dr. Ahrens. We've got 2 to go. We've had quite a few questions that have accumulated. So thank you, everybody, for staying with us on board. Next question from the same gentleman is that it's about seniors, so people that have been around the sun a few times and have got worldly experience. So in 10 years, this particular individual will be 94. So in contacting their senior friends and sharing the Emulin videos, when they follow up, they all have aches and pains, as you can imagine, and some are very serious medical conditions and some are underweight. Of course, the underweight ones are not interested in the product because it talks about weight loss, diets, cutting calories, etc. A quote from one of my friends: Mac, I weigh 100 pounds, I'm 5'7", and I have a lot of pain and serious medical condition. I would like to gain 20 or 30 pounds, but I can't afford to lose any more weight. It seems when the word diet is used, it is assumed it is weight loss. I think sometime over the last year or two, Dr. Joe talked about our body weight and our set point. Can Emulin help them gain weight and improve their medical conditions? If so, is there some information, a video or printed materials that could possibly be shared with them to assist in this area?
Okay, I apologize, because that is actually when people start talking to me about weight management, they're really talking about losing weight, because most people are obese and that's their main concern. But if you will come on to our, I guess it's on Facebook or web channels, or I don't know all this stuff, Jackie. You can tell them where it is. We talked about a diet. And we said a couple of things. First of all, diet does not mean it's something that causes you to lose weight. Diet is just what you eat. So as a doctor, when I say diet, I mean whatever you are eating. Mediterranean diet, what they eat in the Mediterranean. Chinese diet, US horrible diet. What are you eating? But when you talk to most people, you say, oh, are you on a diet? They think, oh, I'm trying to lose weight. No, that's not true. You can be on a diet to gain weight. So I need to be more clear about that in the future. The second thing is, instead of weight loss, it's weight management. Yes, most people want to lose weight. What Emulin does in 24/7 is have your body operate efficiently with, and especially with pertaining to your carbohydrate, your sugar metabolism. And you will end up at your proper set point, whatever that happens to be for you. And you know what? I don't know what your genetics are, but they may have dealt you a card that says you're 4'7" and 300 pounds. That's what you are destined, and you can fight that or not. Or they can say, okay, you're 6'2" and 125 pounds. Okay, you're a pretzel. Well, that's maybe where your body needs to be genetically. And you can fool around losing weight, adding weight. But for those people that are, as you just said, elderly, hey, wow, 10 years, 94 years old, that's really close to my age, I guess. So Emulin will cause you to be optimum. It will not shed the weight on you. No, this is not a diet fad loss thing. It just makes the carbohydrates efficient. It keeps the carbs away from where they should not go, and it causes them to go where they should go, which is in your brain and your muscle. And it's healthy carbohydrate, sugar metabolism. And in nature, there were Emulin molecules in the food we used to eat a couple hundred years ago. Every time there was sugar, like a pineapple or a banana, blueberry, blackberry, sugar cane itself, there was also Emulin there. Now, there's no more Emulin in there. We just completely either bred it out or it's refined out. But nature intended for you to have Emulin when you took sugar. And you end up being the proper weight for you. So in those people that are losing weight, it'll help you gain. Those people that are overweight, for a lot of different reasons, it will help you lose. It's weight management. It is not, Emulin is not a diet. And you say that, you think weight loss. It's not a diet product. Emulin causes your body to be at its best, efficient management of sugars, and you'll either gain weight or you'll lose weight.
So Dr. Ahrens, we've got one more question, but just to add to that, last week, or the call before, sorry, was about managing your body. And we did talk about, people that need to lose weight and people that need to add actual pounds onto their body. So if you go to Dr. Ahrens' YouTube page or you go to his Facebook page, all of those recordings are in either of those. And there's information in there specifically, Warren, for that would be able to help for you to be able to share for that specific thing to share with the people that are asking those questions. Dr. Ahrens, the last question for the day, or the evening, I should say, is that somebody said that they've had a blood test done, and it's not on your sheet. This is one that's been typed into the chat. That they had a blood test and everything is good, but the cholesterol is up to 6.5, and the doctor is telling them that it should be 3.5 and lower. They are taking Emulin M. Should they continue to take Emulin M?
Wow, that is high, no doubt. But also, that's a very low level that the doctor is suggesting. Usually 5 is the spot we're trying to hit, 5.2, 4.9. to get it wanted down all the way down to 3. Maybe there's some of the issue going on. Please look at my video where I covered cholesterol. Most information on cholesterol that the doctor gives you is total bullshit. And I'll just say that to anyone's face. And I actually told that. And I actually, on this particular one on cholesterol, I went over the scientific articles and I've got them listed and you can read them to yourself. Most information on cholesterol is bullshit. There is no correlation whatsoever with cholesterol and any heart event. End of story. Number 2, there is no relation between food cholesterol and your blood cholesterol. So that's already so well accepted that the US and European authorities have no longer say what a dietary level of cholesterol is. Just 5 years ago, they had a level of cholesterol that you should have in your diet and not exceed. And now they've taken it away. This is how medical research is. You know, people like myself do research, we lay it on the table, and it takes 10 or 20 years for the medical community, that's the technician people, the extension agent people, to absorb that and then give it to their patients. I don't know why anybody would want to have such a low cholesterol level, because even high blood cholesterol levels are not associated with any heart event. It's just crazy. Just get on I will tell your doctor, once you read some latest medical journals, either the AMA or the Lancet, which is equivalent in Britain, this is a particular area that irritates me, just because it originally started with a guy called Keyes that pulled the wool over the whole world because he wanted to be president of the American Heart Association, and he made up and fabricated the original work. Now you can all look at this up. It's called the 7-country study. Go to Wikipedia. It's actually, I've reviewed that. It's a very good article. The 7-country study, and it will tell you that now it is completely accepted by the AMA and the Lancet Journal that this was just a bunch of bogus crap. And there's no correlation between cholesterol and any heart events. However, having said that, the reason you have high cholesterol is always because of carbohydrates. It's got nothing to do with the carbs in your diet and nothing to do with the fatty acids, which means fats, on a pork chop or whatever. It's all about carbohydrates. Lower the carbs, go on a low carb diet. You will knock your cholesterol level down to nothing. I've done it myself. I travel around. You can tell I'm pretty passionate about this. I travel around, I go in hotels, I eat terrible meals. I go to China or whatever, and they always have to bring out the very best food, and you're just every night eating all this stuff you shouldn't be eating. And I get back to my annual checkup with my doctor, and my cholesterol, it's like 350. He said, "You're supposed to be a health expert." I said, "Okay, doc, no, just give me 1 month." I get back home, boom, down onto an Atkins diet, severe Atkins diet. Even how severe? I didn't even drink any beer for a month. Go back in, my cholesterol is 125. So that's how that works. It's all about the carbs that you consume. Now, getting back on the amount of blood sugar, 5 is okay. That's where I want to get people, and you should be on Emulin C. Well, you weren't probably in that tirade.
No, I'm just listening to the very first statement, actually, I think that you made, because I did write it down in regards to our very first question, that taking too much quercetin can bring the anger out in you. So considering that you've had a lot of BS comments of recent, I'm wondering how much quercetin that you're taking, Dr. Ahrens. So well, just saying, I have been listening. So, but I do want to say, Dr. Ahrens, is there anything that you want to finish up with? Because we've had a really lengthy call today. Is there something that you'd like to make as a final statement for tonight's call?
Well, it is. It's an hour. We probably should just cut these questions in half. I'm sorry, but yeah, we've been on here an hour. We run over every time 40 minutes because that's how it works. People want to know stuff. They ask questions. Maybe we need to try to shift the time a different day or something. Let's look at that in the future because I want to answer people's questions and I want them to feel comfortable. But I'm really thankful for the people on here. The only technical things I want to listen to, look, don't blame your doctors. They are overworked. It's very tough. They are looking at all these symptoms and characteristics, and they're trying to come out, okay, what does that mean for a disease? And then they are a medical doctor, so they're going to look at it in terms of medicine. And that's all they got. They're not surgeons, as an example. They're going to prescribe medicine. I'm very fortunate that my own physician is very open-minded. That's why I chose him. And he's one of the first guys who actually tell you, don't waste your money on this stupid drug. You need to go take this supplement. And he spends all his free time looking at these things, and he understands my stuff. And I hooked up with him. We got a good relationship, but then most doctors are not like that. They will not read those things because they just sit there. They don't have enough time. It's tough being a doctor, but I'll talk to any doctor. You can go through Jackie, get that forwarded to me, and I'll tell them what it is. And I've never had a doctor refute me because they can't. I just hit them with research. This is the situation. You need to be telling your patient that stuff. Or you could wait 10 or 20 years, and in the meantime, they die. It's your choice. So usually they come around. So I want to thank people for being here. I'm thankful for these questions. And my job is to get Emulin out to everyone, and you guys help me do it.
Look, I want to thank you, Dr. Ahrens. And, I think in future, if we get as many questions as what we had, we might actually do 2 Q&As. So we'll just judge that by what comes into the email and try and shorten it that way. But there certainly has been a lot of questions this evening, that have been of value. So please make sure that you look for this recording. It's on the YouTube, it's in Dr. Ahrens' Facebook page. I generally share it in amongst other groups as well, as I know you guys do too. So feel free to share it because there is invaluable information in there to be able to provide to people so that we can let people know what the value of what this product has. And also the knowledge and the research behind the man that's created and formulated this product, being Dr. Joseph Ahrens, dual-nominated Nobel Prize scientist. So I want to thank you personally, Dr. Ahrens, because I learn something from you each and every day. And you always bring a lot of color to it. So thank you so much, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you next week. And we hope that you've enjoyed today's call as much as we have, and you found it as informative as what we have too. So have a great evening. Have a great day, wherever you may be. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.